Babies were killed and eaten. Young girls were forcefully impregnated.
People going crazy think they found a code word for human meat? Wait, what?
The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no.
នេះថាផលិត160
តអ្នកធ្លាប់គិតទេថាសម្រាប់អ្នកត្រូវបានបិទ
កម្ពុជានៅចម្រៀងខេមរៈ
ชัยชนะของภูมิใจไทย
ស៊ីក្បាលចេញកតុយស៊ីកតុយឬឱកាសនិយមនេះគឺពួកគាត់ច្រើនតែស្ថិតនៅក្នុងវិបត្តិគឺវិបត្តិអត់ដឹងទៅខាងណាឲ្យច្បាស់ណាខាងគណៈបកប្រជាជនកម្ពុជាក៏គេមិនរាប់រងថាជាមនុស្សរបស់គេខាងគណៈបកប្រឆាំងគឺ bless គាត់ចោលហើយព្រោះអីចាត់ទុកថាគាត់ក្បត់បកអញ្ចឹងដូច្នេះគាត់ខ្លាយទៅជាមនុស្សតែលតោលគ្មានទីដៅកើតជំងឺ stress នៅក្នុងផ្លូវចិត្តមួយគឺតើគោលនយោបាយនៅក្នុងការធ្វើទៅមុខដោយរបៀបណានេះគឺជាការដែលចៅគំនិតភ្លើងចម្បៅគឺឆេះមកផឹកគឺអស់អាលីងនៅសល់តែសំណក់ផេះផង់គឺជាការសម្លាប់មនសិការសម្បញ្ញៈឧត្តមកតិនិងគោលការណ៍ក្នុងនាមជាមនុស្សដែលមានសតិសម្បញ្ញៈដល់ពេលសុខចិត្តមិនចូលរួមនយោបាយតែម្ដងអត់អីទេ
That day, Monday, September 15th, Lehman Brothers filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And folks, this wasn't like a small thing. It was the...
Because what you mean, according to the Epstein files, Epstein had a rule. If you wanted to be in his inner circle and party with him, you had to first send pictures of your kids to him, number one. And then, when he invited you onto the island, your first meeting, you...
សម្រាប់បងប្អូនដែលមានបំណងចង់ទៅរស់នៅធ្វើការឬក៏ប្រកបអាជីវកម្មនៅប្រទេសម៉ាឡេស៊ីយើង
Companies have made an arrest in a criminal harassment investigation and say they're...
So I guess Trump just confirmed that he did not watch the Turning Point USA alternative Super Bowl performance with Kid Rock and whoever, which didn't even show on Twitter. Apparently it was only streaming on...
To honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome multi-platinum award-winning artist and composer, Charlie Puth.
I made him.
Okay,
the consequences from the latest...
It is insane how countries in Europe are doing far more to hold their officials who were found in the Epstein files accountable for their conduct than we are in the United States, and it's not even close. For example, the former UK ambassador to Washington, Peter Mandelson, was fired and could go to prison for his connections to Epstein. Police in the United Kingdom have already searched his properties. Also, the Prime Minister's chief of staff who hired him has also resigned. Of course, Prince Andrew has been stripped of all of his titles. He's been evicted from the royal home. The national security advisor for Slovakia's prime minister has also resigned over his Epstein links. The former French minister Jack Lang has resigned from the Arab World Institute after his Epstein correspondence was revealed. The other day, Norwegian police opened a criminal investigation into their former prime minister for his connections to Epstein. And there are more examples, but here in the United States, for all these people mentioned in the Epstein files, there's no investigation, there's no charges, there's no criminal conviction, there's no nothing. They're being protected by Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and the entire Trump regime. The world is pointing and laughing at us while we celebrate those people as they hold theirs accountable.
I'm going to show you the Antichrist lie.
It is insane how... Man, that Super Bowl halftime show from Bad Bunny was fantastic. So good. The message was amazing. It focused on love and inclusion and the representation of so many different cultures from so many different countries. And behind him during the end of the performance was a billboard that said, "The only thing more powerful than hate is love." And MAGA is already freaking out over that message. He also said, "God bless America" during his performance because contrary to what MAGA believes, he is an American. He was born in Puerto Rico. And so many different celebrities made an appearance as well. Pedro Pascal, Cardi B, Lady Gaga obviously performed. It was really cool. And I think most people watching it would agree. Definitely one of the best Super Bowl performances I've ever seen. Easily top 5, maybe even top 3. It was that good. So it focused on love, inclusion, highlighting different cultures while simultaneously annoying MAGA. That's a real win-win right there. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you have to say. But as I mentioned, I thought it was fantastic. This is so pathetic. Turning Point USA is now texting people to watch their version of the Super Bowl halftime show and turn off Bad Bunny's performance. So this was the text just sent out. It says, "America, change the channel at halftime, say no to woke, and tune in to Turning Point USA's All-American halftime show for a one-of-a-kind exclusive performance from Kid Rock, Brantley Gilbert, Lee Brice, and Gabby Barrett." Sounds like an awful time. They provide all the different ways you can watch it. Of course, it's only conservative channels because who actually wants to watch this? But it is so funny how angry Republicans are by Bad Bunny's performance, and it hasn't even happened yet. They are the real snowflakes. They are the ones who are so sensitive. Seriously, if anybody at your Super Bowl party says at halftime, "Hey, let's turn this off and turn on the All-American show. We want to see that one," kick them out of the party. Kick them out of the party, get them out of there. They're no fun. The normal people are going to be watching Bad Bunny. The MAGA freaks will be tuning into Kid Rock and Brantley Gilbert. You guys have fun with that. This is so pathetic. It is insane how countries in Europe are doing far more to hold their officials who were found in the Epstein files accountable for their conduct than we are in the United States. And it's not even close. For example, the former UK ambassador to Washington, the circumstances around Epstein's death just got even weirder because in the Epstein files, a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Southern District of New York from 2019 has just been found where they announced Epstein's death on the 9th of August when in reality he died on the 10th of August. Here's the statement up there, U.S. Attorney's Office dated August 9th, 2019, and in the letter they say early this morning they found Epstein unresponsive in his cell and they later pronounced him dead. They probably just dated the letter wrong, but it's also weird because the other day we learned more about this unidentified person in orange clothing who walked up the stairs toward Epstein's cell the night that he died. That person has never been identified by the federal government. It's also something that the FBI noticed in their analysis of Epstein's death. Also, the guards in the prison that night couldn't explain to investigators why the inmate number dropped from 73 to 72 sometime between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m. that night. And finally, the guards that found Epstein said they couldn't recall taking the noose off of him, and interestingly, the noose that he allegedly used has never been definitively identified. It's all very strange. I'll put the number of this document on the screen like always so you can go read it for yourself, but just gets weirder by the day. I just found some more insane emails in the Epstein files, and once again I'm left asking myself, why is this person's name redacted? Why is Donald Trump, his FBI, and Department of Justice protecting bad men who did bad things with Epstein? This is an email sent in 2016 from somebody, their name is redacted, we don't know, to Epstein with an image in it, and it says age 10. Age 10, and their name is redacted. Donald Trump doesn't want the American people to know who said this. Here's another email from that same day in 2016 from presumably the same person, but we don't know. Their name is redacted. The email includes an image, and it says age 11. And there are plenty of emails like this where they're saying disgusting things, but the names are redacted. Trump is protecting these people. I'm going to put the number of those emails on the screen right now if you'd like to. What I found interesting, so I was just on a flight, and as soon as we landed, my phone started blowing up with text messages, and everybody was telling me that Donald Trump attacked me on social media again. He posted a video with my face in it, and what do you know? It's true. It's this really weird video where he's depicting himself as like the king of the jungle. He's a lion and a bunch of different people or other animals. So he put my face on a flamingo. Here's an example. Here's another example. And it's also the same video where he depicted Obama and Michelle Obama as monkeys. So incredibly racist, incredibly gross. This is what the president of the United States is doing. He's probably just trying to get his mind off things, right? Like the Epstein files, where his name, fun fact, appears more times in those documents than the name Jesus does in the Bible. It's true, look it up. For some reason, every time Trump has gone after me, it's been very weird. Like the first time was the jet dropping feces on me, and now this time an AI video of him in the jungle as a lion. It's just like this guy is so strange. But look, I'm not bothered. I'm not intimidated. I couldn't care less if Donald Trump... What's up, everybody? It's me, Harry Sisson, Chris Mowry.
What's up?
We're in Nashville, Tennessee. We just did this thing called Bar Fight with Michael Knowles. He's a Daily Wire commentator, a MAGA guy, where we went to this bar. A bunch of Republicans came in, and it was like us two versus the entire bar and Michael Knowles. It was really fun. We debated everybody. The crowd was heckling us. They were booing us. How do you think it went?
Honestly, I think it went really well. It was like 90 straight minutes of screaming debating. We cooked on the Epstein files. We cooked on the fact that Trump's a felon. We cooked on ICE.
Yeah.
But it was intense and it was hard. You know, an entire bar of MAGA. It's like, think of TikTok live, all the MAGA people in real life, plus like an actual, like Michael Knowles, like Ben Shapiro, Jason, and you're just like...
And getting booed the entire time.
Yeah.
Everything we said, we were like, yeah, we don't think we should be voting for criminals. Boo! What the hell are you talking about? Come on. But it was fun, man. I would do it again. And when you talk to these MAGA people in the bar, specifically the people in the crowd, they have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
I'm tired, bro.
This is what J.D. Vance said when asked if he would apologize to Alex Preddy's family for labeling him as an assassin. Just watch.
Do you plan to apologize to the family of Alex Preddy?
For what?
For, labeling him an assassin with ill intent.
Well, again, I just described to you what I said about Alex Preddy, which is that he's a guy who showed up with ill intent to an ICE protest.
No, but if it is
he's a guy...
If it's determined that his civil rights were violated by this FBI investigation, will you apologize to them?
So, if this hypothetical leads to that hypothetical leads to another
it's a real case.
Will I do a thing? And again, like I said, we're going to let the
Yeah, that condescending... I just found some more insane emails in the Epstein files. And once again, I'm asking, why is this redacted? Donald Trump, his FBI, his Department of Justice are protecting bad men who did bad things with Epstein. This is an email that was sent from somebody, we don't know who, to Epstein back in 2013. It says, new Brazilian just arrived, sexy and cute, 9 years old. What? Why is their name redacted? Why don't we know who's saying this? Why haven't they charged this person? Trump and his team have said there's no evidence that Epstein did anything wrong with anybody else. We're looking at the evidence. It's right in front of our faces. I also talked about this email yesterday, 2014, from somebody, again, the name is redacted, to Epstein. Thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. They're saying the crimes. They're saying it out loud that they're doing it. And why is Donald Trump and Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice protecting this person? This is an email in the Epstein files. It's from a redacted name to Epstein saying, thank you. It is insane how countries...
I'm going to show you
For all the MAGA Filipinos or Asians or...
Okay, this email thread where Jeffrey is plotting and planning what to do with a woman who had accused one of his buddies, Leon Black, of R-word, and to get some assistance in figuring out what to do with this girl who was causing so much trouble in his life and his friends' lives, he consulted one of Putin's advisors. Said advisor is specifically Sergei Belikov. I'm almost positive that there is an unredacted version of this email that was put in the files before the second drop because of past public reporting and other deep dive.
So you want to search the Epstein files, but you're not sure how. I'm going to walk you through it. It is very...
So I guess Trump just confirmed that he did not watch the Turning Point USA alternative Super Bowl performance with Kid Rock and whoever, which didn't even show on Twitter. Apparently it was only streaming on YouTube because he's clearly seen the halftime show for the actual Super Bowl.
ចាឥឡូវឆ្នោតចេញហើយគឺលោកអានុទីនជាប់ឆ្នោតណាមិនជាប់ធម្មតាគឺជាប់ដាច់ហ្មងណាភ្លុកទឹកភ្លុកដីអាហ្នឹងវាមានន័យថាម៉េចមានន័យថាប្រជាជនថៃគឺគ្រប់គ្រងអ្វីដែលអានុទីនធ្វើហើយអ្វីដែលអានុទីនធ្វើដែលប្រជាជនថៃគ្រប់គ្រងជាងគេគឺធ្វើសង្គ្រាមវាយលុកមកលើកម្ពុជាក៏មានពាក្យចាមអារាមថាបើយើងមើល
We have some news right now. We have some awesome details about Bad Bunny's historic halftime performance that I think everyone needs to know about, so spread the word. First up, remember this moment where there was a wedding in the middle of the show? Well, Variety has confirmed that this wedding was actually a real wedding that happened in the middle of the Bad Bunny show. The couple actually, apparently, according to NBC Sports, invited Bad Bunny to their wedding, and in turn, he allowed them to get married during his performance. In addition, throughout the performance, you saw businesses like these. They're all actually real businesses that Bad Bunny decided to feature. For example, this is the Caribbean Social Club. According to The Guardian, Bad Bunny featured this. This is one of the last surviving Puerto Rican clubs in all of New York City. And right here, Villa's Tacos, that's a real taco stand that Bad Bunny decided to feature in his performance. This is located in Los Angeles, according to The Guardian. It was a really historic halftime performance, and it really united a whole lot. We have some news. Donald Trump is about to... The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. One of the best halftime shows I've ever seen. Carry on with your Super Bowl nights. The only news I got for you, Bad Bunny was the right choice. Absolutely no notes. We have some news right now. Viewership for the Turning Point USA alternative halftime show during the Super Bowl is about to be very down because they're already running into some big issues. They just tweeted out saying that due to licensing issues, they can't stream the Super Bowl halftime show featuring Kid Rock on Twitter. Funny enough, Elon Musk, the owner of Twitter, is the one who supports this alternative halftime show. And well, Turning Point USA is not going to be able to stream this on Twitter. Bad Bunny, meanwhile, will be streamed. You'll see it everywhere, Twitter, TV, wherever. So Turning Point USA. We have some news right now. New emails in the Epstein files show that Jeffrey Epstein was discussing with Michael Wolff about concerns about Donald Trump's alleged dementia. That is a new file that was found today that essentially says that some of Donald Trump's closest friends were at dinner and concerns about the president's mental state of affairs. Here's the email from Jeffrey Epstein to Michael Wolff. This is from December 29th, 2017. Epstein writes, quote, "Some at dinner with Donald last night were concerned about dementia. Tons of makeup, did not reorganize old friends or recognize old friends, I guess is what that equal sign is." Now, we know that Jeffrey Epstein did not like Donald Trump by this point, but at the same time, we also know that Jeffrey Epstein was trying to meet with Don Jr., Donald Trump's son, multiple times in 2018 and 2019 after this email was sent. Looking into the mind of Epstein during this time has been truly a horrific and yet fascinating experience at the same time, in the sense that you see the way that this evil man interacted with all these people. And this is just the latest example. So spread the word and follow along for more. We have some news right now, new email. We have some news right now. The Washington Post left some of its reporters that it completely laid off this week, stranded in war zones. It's serious. Following the mass layoffs at the Post, the CEO, who was AWOL during many of the layoffs, actually stepped down over the past 24 hours. But we're now learning, based on a Twitter post circulating and also according to Deadline, that a number of journalists were actually stuck overseas. They were stuck in war zones and other places where the Washington Post just laid them off without any compensation, without any, here's a flight back, let's get you back in the States. Just didn't happen. And afterwards, the bureau chief at the Washington Post, located in Tokyo, actually launched a GoFundMe to help their colleagues who had been stuck internationally come home. The tagline for the Washington Post is "Democracy dies in darkness." The media organization has so many good journalists, had so many good journalists. It is a very sad We need to talk about something very serious that I need your help spreading the word about, because I keep getting this question of why won't the survivors of Epstein and Maxwell's horrific crimes just release the names of the wealthy people associated with Epstein? And well, here's the answer. It's not their responsibility to do it. It's the Department of Justice's. And when you ask questions like, well, why won't the survivors just do it? It takes the heat off the DOJ, which is the one that's responsible for investigating and prosecuting these people. That's number one. Number two, when I say wealthy and powerful, I mean it. These are not your average everyday people. These people have access to sometimes unlimited amounts of resources. And that creates an inherent power imbalance, where if a survivor releases a name, that person can sue the survivor, can go after the survivor legally and in other ways. And oftentimes the survivor has nowhere near the same amount of resources and access that these wealthy people have. And third, the survivors have been demanding justice for decades. This is not new. 5 administrations have failed them, over 20 plus years. What? We have some more significant Epstein files related news. First, new emails I've just obtained show that federal prosecutors under the Trump administration in 2009, Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico ranch, where we know abuse of children occurred. Because why? Well, at least one survivor, Annie Farmer, testified under oath in Ghislaine Maxwell's trial about her abuse at the New Mexico ranch. And yet, it was never searched by federal prosecutors. Here's the email. And it says right here, quote, "We also reviewed the status of the search warrant with respect to the island property, and we have not searched the New Mexico property." This is from December 20th, 2019, well after Epstein died. Now, ultimately, this ranch in New Mexico was sold. It no longer belongs to the Epstein estate. It didn't belong to Jeffrey Epstein in recent years. Any evidence of abuse would likely be gone by this point if the search happened today. What's unclear is if state prosecutors conducted a search. I'm still digging, but federal prosecutors, at least based on that email from December of 2019, never did. I'll have more updates for you soon. Spread the word. Follow along for more. On behalf of the United States at the Winter Olympics in Italy, a real loser after the skier called out essentially the United States government over its actions regarding ICE, immigration, and more. Donald Trump's latest Truth Social post reads, quote, "U.S. Olympic skier Hunter Hess, a real loser, says he doesn't represent his country in the current Winter Olympics." It's not really what he said. If that's the case, he shouldn't have tried out for the team, and it's too bad he's on it. Very hard to root for someone like this. Make America great again. What Hunter Hess actually said was that he has mixed emotions representing the United States of America at a time where essentially the turmoil inside the country is harming so many people, especially as it relates to the ICE raids in Minnesota and elsewhere. And now the president is ripping one of his own athletes. Spread the word. Follow along the steps. Now Ghislaine Maxwell intends on pleading the fifth and refusing to answer any substantive questions during tomorrow's deposition in front of the House Oversight Committee. A new obtained letter sent by Ro Khanna to James Comer, obtained by Midas Touch exclusively, outlines several questions that Ghislaine Maxwell is refusing to answer. She's refusing to answer any questions related to Donald Trump's potential relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, Elon Musk's potential relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, any co-conspirators of Jeffrey Epstein's, essentially all substantive questions that you want answers to, Maxwell tomorrow will plead the fifth to. Now, this is significant. Why? Because remember, when she sat down with Todd Blanche, she got some form of immunity. She didn't plead the fifth, and she didn't answer these questions. She didn't outline who the other co-conspirators were. She didn't go into detail into Trump's relationship with Epstein and more. She is refusing to answer all questions tomorrow. Spread the word. Follow along for more. Encouraged the DOJ to release this, but that's not all. Encouraged the DOJ to release this, but that's not all. CBS News has confirmed that the night of Jeffrey Epstein's death, or rather the night before, there was an orange flash, presumably potentially another inmate or another person walking near his cell. The only problem with that, well, the DOJ previously said that no one was near Epstein's cell that night. So yeah, I've got questions. Hopefully we can answer them. Spread the word. Follow along for more.